anything you want, any way you want, just about, and we leave that. And you figure this one out.
Well, that was just like the MML,
Can you promise?
you know, FMPDD was taking us to dinner, we.
Keelan, I know it worked last time when you.
She's up.
We're live? Okay. Perfect. You good?
I haven't,
You ready? We're going to go ahead and call the January 6, 2026 City Council meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call. Ward 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and at large are present. And I'm going to ask Councilman Smith to lead us. Oh, and Ward 4 is present as well. Ask Councilman Smith to lead us in prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any agenda amendments needed? Okay. If not, we're going to move on to the announcements. January 19th, 2026, the city offices will be closed for MLK Day. January 20th will be our next city council meeting. And we do have, moving on to guests, we do have a guest with Orion Planning regarding our new zoning ordinance.
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, Happy New Year to you. It's great to be back in Bay St. Louis for a few days, and appreciate the opportunity to be before you. I just will take just a few minutes to bring the board up to date on where we are with the zoning code rewrite. Let me start off by thanking you. By the way, I'm Bob Barber with Orion Planning Design. I think perhaps everyone already knows that. Thanking Bay St. Louis for the opportunity to work with the city. It has been really a true privilege, and it's been a very good experience for our group, for sure. So thank you for that. We are in the final stages of zoning code revision, zoning code rewrite. We introduced the draft, the comment draft to the Planning and Zoning Commission last night, sort of a workshop format. That's on YouTube. There was a PowerPoint presentation, and then we had a Q&A, and the purpose wasn't to go over the fine detail of the code, but to introduce it, make it available for public comment. And so we did that last night. And just as a reminder to the board, the code rewrite, you engaged us about a little over a year ago to rewrite the code on the heels of Bay St. Louis 2045, which was a comprehensive plan effort that occurred in years 23 and 24, which also was a good effort. And that comprehensive plan, Bay St. Louis 2045, sets a vision for the community going forward. It was very much rooted in community input, focus groups, community meetings, and so forth. And so the broad vision was set. There were multiple implementation strategies associated with Bay St. Louis 2045. One of the needs that emerged from the plan was to sort of comprehensively revise the 2010 zoning code for a number of reasons. We conducted an assessment of the code, and when we looked at it, we looked at three primary areas, which was the formatting of the code, which certainly needed strengthening. The organization of the code needed significant improvements, and then the regulatory content of the code. And all of that is based on Bay St. Louis 2045 comprehensive plan and its vision. Some of those key principles out of the plan address downtown, preserving, enhancing downtown, enhancing the highway corridors and some of the commercial areas, protecting historic neighborhoods and historic areas and other vision elements associated. Environmental protection was a part of it as well. So that all led to the zoning code rewrite, again, of which we've introduced a draft for public comment. It's been posted on the city's website. There's a comment function that general public can use to review and comment as necessary. We'll respond to all of those items. And just a word about implementing a plan. Very quickly, a city plan is implemented in really three ways. One has to do with projects, which is the way private and public investments occur. Second is the way the community development process is managed. And then thirdly is the policies that come out of a plan. And the zoning code fits under that policy category, which is what we're doing. I'm sure you'll be looking at the code. We have made changes with regard to formatting, as already mentioned, to make it as user-friendly possible. There will be revisions to regulatory content, making it consistent with contemporary and best development practices, as was identified in the code, and then there are also process enhancements to make things as smooth and as efficient as possible as the community development process occurs. So I already mentioned that the code is online. We look forward to comments. We are in the final stages. Once we have addressed comments during this period of time, it will ultimately be after planning and zoning makes its final recommendation. It'll be before the council for adoption. So you'll be considering it in the several months ahead, hopefully. That's where we are. Just want to make that introduction. Probably took up too much of your time, but it's great to be back in Bay St. Louis and look forward to filing things out.
Bob, can you explain exactly how they provide comments in the document?
Yes,
that's on the website?
so when the document is opened, it'll come up electronically, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little button you can push that says comment. And you just drop a point on the page where you're commenting and write it out to the side, and we'll get an immediate email that so-and-so has commented on the document. If you don't want to do that, or if you find that it's more of a hassle than you want to do, just a direct email, page so-and-so, look at this, I have a comment about this, and we'll get the comments that way. And if you really want to go paper and pencil, those can be dropped off at City Hall with Jeremy, and we'll receive comments that way. So.
And Bob, appreciate you coming. So can you reiterate the timeline of when the public hearing says? What are we looking at?
Yes, I believe Jeremy had targeted February the 11th. If I'm
middle February is public hearing of P&Z, and then the city council, because that next meeting for city council is Mardi Gras week. We put city council would be the first meeting in March, just so it's not during that vacation time for everybody.
Yeah.
So individuals have an opportunity, obviously, to look at the website, respond back through that mechanism, but then also come to planning and zoning. Is that the public hearing, but then also come to city council. They will still have an opportunity to discuss.
Yes, sir.
But Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, but we want to really let people know that the better option is to get their comments in now. That's why we have a public comment. Ideally, what we would like is for by the time it gets to public hearing, that it's pretty much a finalized document. So we want the public to start engaging now, start looking at this document, start making comments, start asking questions. So hopefully by the time we get to the middle of February, the document is pretty solid and ready to push forward. Am I correct?
You are correct.
How are we notifying the public? Are we putting something out in the local paper?
Yeah, Jeremy is going to run a press release in the Seacoast Echo, and it's also on our website. I just pulled it up to make sure.
Do we know it's just one time the Seacoast? How many times are we running it?
We can run it as many times as y'all want.
Well, and I think we're sending a press release to the Echo for them to run a news article about it, not just posting it in the legals that nobody reads, but actually asking putting it in a press release format so that the Echo will run it in the paper.
And the comments
It's
that are
gonna push
received,
on Facebook as well. I mean, that, you know, that'll go viral.
and the comments that you receive, will we be able to access those? Maybe have a summary of
The-
kind of what,
We can, we'll,
People are
we'll
saying-
provide a summary of them. You'll be able to see the comments that are entered online.
oh, so it's.
Other
it's like a
people's
live
comments,
feed?
you'll
Oh,
see them there, so they'll be,
I didn't realize
but
that.
we will collect them and be able to provide a listing of all the comments.
Yeah, I didn't realize that everyone's comments were on there.
Thank you very much. I want to say that it has been really a pleasure work. We're not done yet, so don't, I hope we're not done, but, it's been a pleasure to work with the board to facilitate a good, solid community development in a wonderful community is a job of a lifetime. And, I really appreciate the opportunity to have done it, and also to work with, your staff, which is, they have put in countless hours in reviewing the code. Heather and Mike and Jeremy, very much appreciated, and we look forward to the next step.
One question before you leave. I'm pretty sure most people like me, we want to see what the major changes are. So I'm assuming, or I'm going to ask actually, is the map interactive? Can I click on the map and actually see the new zones and what is now or what's in my area?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You'll be able to click the parcels and see the information associated to the parcel level, yes.
But I don't think you'll be able to see what it was, can you?
Yeah, we have it in the flyout. You'll be able to see what it was and how it translates, but you'll also see in the code, there's what we would call a crosswalk, so that the new zones, how they are related to the old zones, and many times they're refinements of the old zone, and there's be a little different name. So you'll be able to see that in the code itself, and then when you click on the map, you'll be able to see how the current classification and how it's proposed, how it
So-
shows up in the new classification.
So just a point of reference, say the R1, R2, that is no longer the language, it's changed to a suburban low, suburban medium, is that right?
That is correct. Yes, it's a place, the Bay St. Louis 2045 was a place-based plan. It's intended to get at neighborhood preservation, neighborhood character, best development practices, and so the nomenclature is associated with sort of the pattern of development. So we have a old town low and suburban low, highway corridor, those kinds of things, rather than R1, R2, R3.
We'll look forward to subsequent conversations. It does look like there's, based on those changes, allows more density, so look forward to discussions on that in the very near future.
We will look forward to those conversations as well. Be minor changes. If there's changes there, there will be, minor, but we can discuss that.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you.
It's important to read basically every page on every word and every page. I mean, those numbers matter. So
Yes.
that's stuff you got to get back to Bob.
And,
can vet
council has direct access to us, so feel free to exercise that if you want to discuss further.
And I think also, Bob, just not to get into the weeds of things, but Colin, when you're playing with those maps too, to look at some of this before our previous zoning was almost like a block type zoning, not physical blocks, but it didn't really make sense as to what maybe was there before. So I know a lot of thought was put into that as to, okay, what are the lots that are actually here? So if you're in a neighborhood that's been built for 100 years that has 50-foot lots, and it was say an R1 where it required a 100-foot lot, that didn't make any sense because there wasn't a single conforming lot in that area. And so there's a lot of thought put into that. So when you're clicking around a map and you're looking at what the new zone is classified or what it is, also look at what the neighborhood has been and why it would be that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to looking at it. I know this was just posted recently, so I haven't had a chance to digest it, but just saw some things that pointed out. So.
Yes, sir.
Brand new.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now that we're done with the guest portion, we'll move on to the public forum regarding agenda items. Do you have Mr. John Oman?
John Owen, 110 DeMont Wilson Avenue. like to tell you how really great it is to be here, but I've only got 3 minutes, so I'll skip that. On the tree ordinance, I'm only commenting on what's printed on the agenda here. I haven't read it. I haven't been involved in anything with development about it. I am curious, though, about the phrase establishing a tree protection advisor. Can you tell me, is that an individual or a board or a commission? Anybody know?
That'd be an individual and arborist.
Right.
Be an individual and arborist. I expect the same
I
one
think that's defined.
has been there. I hope you don't regret not having a board involved here. Board's not an automatic fix for anything and can be a problem. I think you might be considering in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Anita Warner?
About the tree ordinance, this is the second time I've talked to y'all about it. The tree protection advisor is an arborist. Our current person is a horticulturalist. He is not an arborist. So I don't know if the city has somebody in mind. We have a great retired arborist who lives here who has given us some advice in the past, John Ben. But I'm sure he doesn't need the work, and I know he doesn't need the money. So, but he's great to, if you need an overview or need some history, he's the person y'all need to talk to. With respect to what you have on here in terms of protected trees, when a protected tree is removed, it must be replaced with a protected tree. And the protected trees are live oaks and southern magnolias. It may be in a particular circumstance that it would be well to put something other than one of those two trees for whatever reason, depending on the lay of the land. If there are other trees there, it just might be something we might want to think about. We can have all kinds of trees that maybe not necessarily, because live oaks need space. And if you don't have a lot of space and you put one in there, then you're going to have to work with picking it up. So that's one thought about it. I did talk to Heather and ask her about the fine portion of it where somebody goes and cuts down illegally. And because we are relegated to municipal court, we can only fine them $1,000. So that's jurisdictional. That can't be changed. But it also has in here that people can pay into a fund and that we can then use those funds to do certain things with trees in the city. So that's a good idea. I do think that it might be helpful to have a tree board, a tree protection board, a couple citizens who might have a little bit of information they can give you all and work with folks who want to take out trees for whatever reason. Just a suggestion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Nader.
No one else has signed up for public comment on agenda items, so we'll move. Yeah, if come to the podium.
Paula Fackerton, 404 Sycamore Street. It's in reference to the new zoning ordinance. So you guys are not prepared to take action. You're just introducing. Okay, so is the ordinance available for the public to view?
Yes, ma'am. It's online now. I believe it went live today on the city website, and they also, I was just looking at it, actually, I was just talking, they actually have a section on the side where you can type comments. And
Oh, okay.
there's actually an interactive map as well, so.
Okay, great. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Paul.
Okay, moving on to the minutes approval. Are there any issues with the minutes? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the minutes of December 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Holmes. Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any issues with the way the consent agenda is presented?
Yeah, just some discussion on the item number. Sorry, let me get here. First item, motion to approve the resolution by the mayor and city council to cruising the coast. Just some point of clarity. So I know there was a letter sent from Cruisin' as to the cost of it, so we're looking at a site fee of 20,000. Is there some clarity? Do we have a count on what so there's the city of Bay St. Louis will provide some items, and then Cruisin' will. The meal vouchers for the volunteers, what does that consist of? Do we
I
know
asked the
numbers?
same thing. All we do is print the meal vouchers.
So we're not reimbursing the
No,
volunteers.
I asked the same question.
Cruising
It's,
codes reimburse the workers and all.
we
What?
just give them out with
They
like that we,
reimburse the restaurants.
yeah.
So-
So we're
I
just
used to be
responsible
one.
for the paper. The same thing we do for our residents. They get passes. For our volunteer, they get passes. And then we give, because I guess we know who our volunteers are, so they give, it's just all we do is print them. And then
So we-
Cruisin' pays the vendor.
We print them, and then Cruisin' hands those out to the volunteers.
The meal vouchers are handed out by us. I handed them out this year to, I think it's Terry, who is with the Misfits, and he handled all his volunteers to distribute them to.
Okay. I just want to
We
make sure.
literally just print the document and hand them out to those volunteers.
So when they get turned into
And we
the
do,
restaurant,
we do parking passes
the
as well.
restaurant redeems it to Cruising
The
the Coast?
restaurant
Yeah,
invoices Cruisin' directly,
Okay.
not the city.
Correct. Are you done, Kyle?
Yeah, that was one of my main questions.
I had a couple of, looking at the MOU with cruising, I'd like to see a couple of things added, if we could. Addressing a zero tolerance for burnouts. And maybe with associated fines. And also no overnight parking.
Okay, it sounds to me, if you don't mind me, I think we need to pull this off of the consent agenda, Jordan.
Yeah.
So if we want to maybe take
Just
this off
do-
and then take this up as a separate item so that the record's clear.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. We'll pull off, item 6A from the consent agenda. Are there any others that we'd like to pull off before discussion? For discussion? Okay. I will, ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda after removing item 6A. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Moynihan seconds.
Any discussion of the
No.
motion?
The only thing I would like to point out, if I could, that SWIFT grant's wrapped up, it looks like. All the final bills are being turned in and submitted for reimbursement, so that's
Yeah, I
Been a
emailed y'all
long
that today,
process.
just see how, because there were several of them there. That is, the
Yes.
contractors are basically done with that.
so good.
Homeowners are, the houses are up, homeowners are in.
Yeah, they look
We do
good.
still have some paperwork to, you'll see some other things coming in. We're still waiting on actually the grant amendment to be approved.
Okay.
So there's some housing relocation costs that the homeowners had that we can't submit yet.
Okay.
So
All right.
there's a few things that you'll still see, but the homeowners in the house, the construction's
Yeah.
complete.
I
The
don't know how to
contractors,
look at a
will-
house like
this is
that.
all paying them everything.
It is. They look good though, and thank the administration for all their hard work and, and the team effort that was put in by everybody to get it done. Thank y'all.
Good job.
Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 7-0. Do we want to discuss item 6A now? Any other discussion regarding the cruising the coast? We'll pick back up there.
Yeah, those 2 points that I just made, and I would like to see that, cruising puts this, these, items in some sort of literature for the cruisers to be familiar with what our city expects of
Do
their
they put any
behavior.
signage out for that?
What you,
For the burn.
The signage saying no burnouts, is that something that can be put up?
they might have something in there. I hadn't read it,
I did not see it,
but they,
anything.
yeah, I know they advertise the pass over there for theirs, but yeah.
And it'd
There's
be,
sanctioned burnout, in Gulfport, they have, at
the
the
past
Island
they
View,
have.
but,
Island View is the
Uh,
flame throwing.
yeah.
well, I think it'd be pursuant to state law right now. I think state law
Right.
prohibits that. And it's up to the city to enforce it, right? So then
Right,
when we
but I
put that,
think cruising, would behoove cruising to, help us along to, say, hey,
To make it aware
yeah,
in their literature.
you know, they succumb to peer pressure.
And I think the city put out a memo, maybe from the police department, letting everyone know, reminding everyone that it is prohibited in the city limits.
Yeah.
You know, we have to be careful if it's gonna be within the jurisdiction of the cruising parameter versus citywide, right? So you're thinking citywide, because it could be, you know, where they shut down certain areas of the city is not the cruising's responsibility, so it'd be the city's responsibility, anything outside of that, correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's unlikely that there's burnouts that are happening outside of the sanction. I don't know, maybe there
Well,
is.
I don't think
yeah.
it's
Cruising is
sanctioned.
only that downtown. Like,
Yeah.
It's there.
Toomey, basically.
Yeah, Toomey.
So they would be responsible for the area that is shut down, and the city's responsible for every area that's outside of the cruising sanctioned event.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that's something we certainly need to put in there. And then at what point, I mean, if we put that in place on the MOU, if it's defiantly, they don't obey it, then what kind of ramifications is there? Does that pull their potential ability to come next year? I guess we just need to discuss that further.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, you know, you could, have a fine associated with burnouts, or, you know, if they don't stop when the police come and tell them to stop, then, yeah,
Well, I guess that goes to the part,
Which
state law.
State law, reckless driving.
is-
yeah.
Yeah,
But as far as if there's something cruising the coast is gonna enforce.
it's gonna
that'd
fall
be
on
a
the city.
penalty- It'll be a penalty that they would enforce.
I don't think, I'm not asking
Cruising to enforce a
cruising
penalty?
to enforce anything. I don't think they have control over what what every cruiser is doing. I just would like to see the cruisers be made aware of what our city ordinance is, or, you know,
Just
the
a
state
general
law.
alarm To put the word out.
Yeah,
Or signage. And it would fall to local
Don't do
jurisdiction, so
it.
it'd be up to the city to enforce.
Yeah.
When it comes to fines, it definitely would be up to the city. I think the only thing that cruising would be able to do would be to prohibit their participation in the following years.
That's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
We could allow them not to register if it was a complaint on them or something.
yeah.
Right.
If it continues, yeah, I think there needs to be some.
And again, this
And the
MOU,
overnight parking.
So you can
parking
always,
was
at
an
any
issue.
given time, if you as a city council do not want Cruising the Coast to visit Bay St. Louis, that is your discretion. So these are 1-year MOUs where you're inviting them to come to the city. So it is a yearly thing.
Okay, well,
There's not
Bring
really
it up every
fines,
year.
but it would just say, okay, you're not allowed back.
we're just asking them to make their cruisers aware of what the expectations of our city. And the overnight parking I thought was a big issue. You know, I live down there, and I walk and I see, you know, the cars never left
No, we wanna
Main
get to-
Street
we wanna
or
get to
Beach
the overnight
Boulevard,
parking.
and it makes it kind of unfair,
Year-round.
you know, for
Right,
other
we're headed that
cruisers.
way.
I'd like to see no overnight parking year round, not just.
Oh, yeah.
We're headed
for
that
But
way.
just,
That-
yeah, some of these
that's correct.
issues are city-related issues, not
It's,
Cruising the Coast related
yeah,
issues.
it's up to us to enforce the local or state law. And then, so I think that would be prudent upon us to be able to create that visualization and recognition on the law and enforce it, so.
Like, so our streets, so if we wanted no parking overnight during events, no parking overnight during a random Saturday,
And that's one of the things we're
for
looking
us.
at.
I know we're
admin down
looking
there.
at it, yeah.
So maybe we'll have it in place by then.
But if we don't have it in place, I think we can do something on a temporary basis for cruising.
Yeah.
It's an enforcement.
So, I guess, does this need to go back to them to put that in there? Or can that just be an ask and, to notify them, and then it's on the city to enforce it?
I think everything that was commented on is not really part of an
Part of
MOU. I think
yeah.
we can ask them to put some documents in their brochures, the
Yeah.
things they hand out about burnouts and being respectful of the communities.
Yeah.
But as from your contract or your MOU, don't know if it has any teeth or.
I know,
thing.
does,
It's up to y'all though, if you wanna table it and.
yeah, I remember when I was in business down there, and we had, we were able to put our Old Town brochure in, I don't know, some sort of bag. So does the
Tourism
city,
do that.
yeah, so are we going to continue that? Cause we could just take it upon ourselves to put some sort of information in a bag to give the cruisers.
That was Tourism Myrna that put those
Yeah.
bags together
Right.
to give out for tourism.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to put together like that, but I mean,
Yeah,
we can get signs made easy just to put on route, this and that.
yeah, and I think just letting cruising know, the officials to let their cruisers know however they wanna do it. These are the expectations.
Now, the cruisers give a bag to all the participants. They receive something, and there is things that are stuffed in there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like a big party that they do to stuff 10,000 bags.
It looks like,
Right.
Mike, on that,
So I know that a city up the street used to have 10,000 documents printed and brought over there to be thrown in.
Yeah.
And that can be done at your expense.
Yeah, I remember
I was gonna say,
stuff like that happening.
based on the MOU, it looks like that's at the city's cost. So right
Yeah.
now,
Oh, it is at the city's cost.
so if we wanted to
We
put,
did it in Diamond Head. We printed it.
so if it,
Might not be a bad idea to print off flyer, no burnouts, just the penalties. That way
Yeah,
you don't have to
just
adjust the MOU, it'd be.
Simple. One side, no burnouts.
Well, I was wondering if
One
they
side, no parking,
brought the-
overnight parking.
the flame throwing back to Hancock County instead of in the past, if it would cut down on our burnouts.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
I mean, that brings a lot of people for that one
I wish we
thing.
could
And the Bay
find-
had it, and some kind of way the past wound up with it.
I wish we could find an area to do sanctioned burnouts and barricade it off and let them pay to go to it, and,
I'm
Right.
thinking,
When they had it,
Do
they
it.
did
I'm
it.
thinking the outskirts of.
Yeah.
I mean. You know, I mean,
Well,
if we
where-
had the area set up, barricade it off, let them do it.
what was the
Charge us
rationale
what the
though, of taking
power
away from the
fee.
depot? I think, what was the rationale that, it used to be stationed at the depot and it was
I
taken
think
away?
so, years
Was
ago.
it tearing up the street? Was it
No,
the
it's
liability?
insurance,
Yeah, liability issue.
and then the Misfits had put it on,
Yeah,
and then when they gave it up, it just didn't happen, and then for a while, and then when the pass got it in a couple of years ago, they gave it to the pass.
I think Long Beach does them too, don't they? Or just a pass?
Gulfport does the
Flame
flame throwing at the casino right there.
And Patrick does the burnout.
Burnout,
Station.
okay.
But is the pass actually on a city road or is it on a private?
It's on
is
a
it
city
right
road.
up on-
It's right
Yeah,
past the park.
Right
It is
there.
on a city road.
Well, we can cross that bridge when we get closer, but as far as the MOU, are we good with approving the MOU as presented?
I am, yes.
You good?
I was like curious, the fee, is that standard, like citywide? Is that based on
What?
the size? Is the fee that goes to cruising?
20,000.
Gulfport is 24.
Just so it depends on the cities?
Diamond Head
Depends
was
what
like
else, if you got,
$5,000, $4,000 or something for their
yeah,
one-day event.
well, it depends what you
Depends
do.
what you're doing. Diamond Head just had 3 or 4 hours.
And if you do an extra event,
Waveland's
like
just one day
Gulfport
now.
does, they got extra events, it costs more money per event you put on outside. The 20,000, I think, is pretty much for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the bands and this and that. If you wanna do something Wednesday, like Waveland does Wednesday night, they probably pay 5,000, just give or take. Diamond Head probably pays 4 or 5,000 for blessing, that type.
Yeah.
Long Beach, I don't know what they pay for the parade, cause they got a few things over there, that's outside of Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
I don't know.
you know. You can still do things, you just won't be advertised through Cruising the Coast with your extras. Like if Bay St. Louis wanna do something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the depot, they could do it. And they either pay and get it advertised as an actual cruising event for each of those days, or you can just have something back there to attract people there and not pay Cruising the Coast.
And have we run the numbers on what the first responders, because I think it's kind of all hands on deck, overtime's included, public works for the setup cleanup. I mean, what's that? I think years ago we estimated that around, I mean, I don't want to throw a number out there, but it's a few $1,000s, right?
Yeah.
The 10 portalettes, what's the deal with that? So they already providing 22 and 8 hand washing stations. Are we just trying to split that with them or?
No, we add extras to some areas. We usually put some at the depot back there, for that, which this year I don't think they put any back there. They just, some extras on the route. We're gonna try to work with them to see if they can bring more portlets under that cost.
So they got 22 right now.
Have we thought about hitting any businesses up or see if they wanna contribute anything to, like, Waveland doesn't pay. Waveland, I write a check for $200 every year to the organization and contribute to it. And I think they go to a bunch of different sponsors and they pay for it like that in Waveland. So I didn't know if we, just something to think about, I think. I mean, everybody benefits somewhat from it. Some benefit a lot more than others from it also, you know, depending on location, where you're at, so.
So not like a mandatory thing, just if you wanna contribute, you can contribute,
I think so.
sponsorship.
Right.
But they got, I guess they got a nonprofit set up or some organization, I forgot what. Hospitality and something is the organization, I think, in Waveland.
Could they just donate it to the city since we're paying it? But if they want to,
Could we accept donations to the city and put it earmarked to this or
to
something?
this, yeah. I mean, if they wanna donate, they can donate towards it.
Better watch how you ask for a donation for the
Yeah, but
city.
what we could do, we could use the chamber to go through them, or use them as an intermediary to make, or create a.
Mhm.
they can-
Just a thought.
Yeah,
so.
no, they could donate to the city,
Yeah, I
but
think they could
I mean,
donate.
I wouldn't expect much out of
Not
that.
much, I mean,
mean-
create a fund for it and just, if someone wants to donate to it, we'll have it for Cruising the Coast. Alright, any other discussion? If not, I will call for a motion to approve the resolution by the mayor and city council of the city of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi to authorize an expenditure for advertising and bringing into favorable notice the opportunities, possibilities, and resources of the city of Bay St. Louis at Cruising the Coast and for related purposes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
Uh,
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 7-0. Okay, moving on to project updates. Looks like there are none. Moving on to number 8, ordinances. 8A is calling for a motion to approve an ordinance of the city council, city of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, providing for the regulation, protection, and preservation of trees within the city, establishing a tree protection advisor, setting forth permitting and mitigation requirements for related purposes.
I'd like to make a motion to table this
Taylor? Yeah.
tonight, because I've received a couple of phone calls from constituents with some suggestions
Okay.
that I think are worth looking into and revising this ordinance.
Is there a second to table the motion to approve an ordinance?
Second.
Any other discussion?
well, just a couple questions. I mean, I know we're tabling this, but things to think of. I mean, do we have a timeline of when we're gonna get how and when we'll get a certified arborist? 'Cause they'll be acting as the tree protection advisor, right? I mean, have
There's
we,
not very many in the state of Mississippi.
I don't think, I mean, you wouldn't get one until your ordinance is.
right, but have we?
We would have to
And-
then
and there is
basically
some-
go
we
out and
contacted
solicit,
any and see what
solicit
the,
an RFQ, or kind of call the person that
You
was
we
just
found
named.
Also,
There's one in Pass Christian. We're actually the arborists are actually having a conference at Hollywood on January 22nd. The mayor and I are going to do a welcoming. So I mean, it's gonna be, we have to go get one and bring it to y'all.
when would be a comparable cost to what we're doing now? Cause right now, I don't think we have a certified horticulturist, right?
It's a horticulturalist.
Okay.
It's not an arborist.
I think, one in the Kill Tree Service is a certified
tree
arborist.
services have one, but is that setting precedent for them, you know?
Oh, kind of a conflict, it might conflict
Yeah.
himself out of work, huh?
Yeah, I'll let you cut it if I get the business.
Yeah.
It's hard to ask them to remove themselves, maybe to take down a $5,000-$10,000 tree for $50 to come say it's dead or alive or.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, if this was somebody who was going to be giving advice on whether or not trees should be taken down, I do not think they could
Should
then
be
go
tree
cut
bed.
trees within the city limits of Bay St. Louis, at least not protected trees. If they
Mhm.
wanted to go cut a, pine tree, have at it, but not protected trees.
And I know we've been contemplating and kind of kicking this around for a few months now, and even predating this council, but the previous council. Nancy, do you have a time frame in mind of when those individuals, you'll put them on the agenda? Do you have comments that you want to bring on the next meeting so we can,
Oh, I think, yeah.
so next meeting?
I suggest that whatever comments we have or revisions that we have, to send them to the administration, let them reformulate the ordinance and send it back to us, and hopefully by next meeting, we can vote on it.
Okay.
So just to let you know, we hadn't received any comments until Monday morning.
Yeah.
I think Friday, there was an email from a resident to Falba. Falba passed it to me and kind of said, hey, have you seen this? I said, no. So I was going to recommend actually saying, hey, give us time to look at that and table it, because they had some good comments in it, you know. But we hadn't received any in that time. Yeah, right. Well, I'm sorry, Larry and Kyle actually sent some pretty good questions.
We have had council participation. I just want to let
That's
that
true, I
be
forgot.
clear. We've had several of you reach out and ask
But
questions.
ideally, those comments would come quick, and we would try to bring this back in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, to
Yeah.
y'all. Obviously, whatever
For
changes
sure.
would be made would be distributed, and y'all can give more feedback, but it goes to try and put it in place,
So you wanna
but
just push
to do it right.
So,
And by the way, that language of the tree ordinance, I think, is like section A in your zoning code, because we asked them to, hey, take that piece out and let's push it and try to get it to y'all faster. So whatever we approve, that's gonna dump into that section.
Okay.
and just to clarify too, because I want to get it all out there before the next one comes on voting, so we are limited to the fines that we can set in our courts, right? So it's set
You
at, okay, so do we still have the outside ability, because we did it based off the DBH and how the diameter, and it can be much more significant than $1,000.
That's
So-
not, yeah, it's not a fine. Your court is what has the limits.
That would be an addition to that.
So,
Yeah.
But we haven't, and of course, we haven't had this ordinance in place, but we haven't had a precedent to where that's enforced at this time. So do we feel confident that that's gonna be enforceable?
what do you, I mean, it's been in, I don't know, I don't
Have a
remember, I
couple
don't really
cases.
understand what he's,
Yeah, we had a couple of cases that have come before our court
yeah, that's,
regarding tree cuts and removals.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so that's being pursued. Once we put the fine based on what that DBH is, we can get that arranged in court. You know, again, I don't want it to become a business decision where it's
The
much
fine's
cheaper.
not a, so you have your path if you go to get the permit, and how you go about doing that, and what your fee would be, and, you know, to order to obtain your permit. If you don't get a permit and you just go and illegally cut a tree,
Right,
that's a whole separate ballgame that
Mhm.
then gets thrown over to your city court. And unfortunately, I mean, you have limits here within our city court that the state sets that we can't go upon between fines. And then you also have jail time as an option, which, you know, nobody wants to think about it, but I mean, that is really where your weight comes in your city court, because your fines that you are able to do in city courts are very small. So business decision wise, I mean, yeah, it might be better to just go get $1,000 fine, but you can also be thrown into jail.
I think it's up to
Up
60
to-
days, 90
yeah,
days.
60 or
Well,
90
I
days.
think
But
we
where does
could
it-
also, put a stipulation for repeat, you know, if this is a contractor or somebody, you know, clearing a lot, you know, for a subdivision or just a contractor, and if he or she is a repeat offender, I think,
I mean, your fines are still,
they can, but the city can put in some mechanism that you can't do business here for a year.
You can pull that license.
pull a
I think.
license.
Pull the, you know, yeah,
but aren't we suggesting,
which would hurt them a lot more than $1,000 fine.
but aren't we suggesting $125 an inch based on the DBH in addition to the fine, right? That's what we're,
I think you're commingling
Yeah.
sections of that statute. That's
so that would be separate from the $1,000 court fine.
That's
or-
if you illegally cut the tree.
Right.
So you don't get a fine if you come in and you get a permit. The
Yeah,
city says, okay,
yeah.
it'll be $4,000 to cut your tree. It'll be $1,500 to cut your tree, whatever
Sure.
it is. then that's, you get your permit and you go. The fine comes in place when you just look around, you say, oh, it's Saturday morning, there's nobody working, and I'm gonna whack my tree. And it's, your neighbor says you just cut a tree and they report you, that's where you end up with a violation. I mean, at that point, it doesn't matter that you didn't get a permit. It doesn't matter that Ricky didn't, at that point, what matters is you get a citation for violating a city ordinance that's then put into the city court
Yeah.
hands.
But if the max fine, that's $1,000, what's the enforcement mechanism to make them repay?
Jail time.
I mean, jail, that's what I'm
So-
trying to
so-
be blunt about.
That
That's,
goes into
yeah.
I mean,
negotiation.
So if you get a
I'm-
$1,000
You gotta give us
fine,
6 trees along with that $1,000, or 10 trees, depends on the size of it. You
so
have
that's the
that,
only really
or-
recourse is
or
you're
they-
either gonna pay the fine
Yeah.
for the tree
And, I mean, your
replacement
other
or go to
recourse
jail.
is, I mean, it kind of depends on the situation, but some of it is stop work orders. So if you're in the middle of building a house and you go illegally cut a tree, I mean, stop work orders place, that could go on for, depending on what kind of the development is, or if you're tied up in court, it could go on for months. Which, for developers, time is money, so that's not a good thing. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't matter if it's this tree ordinance, if it's whatever ordinance you want to blindly pull from a city, from our code. Unfortunately, you're maxed at $1,000 fine, and that's just not a lot of money. So it doesn't matter what ordinance we're dealing with, we always have that limitation with our city court and with our ordinances.
And so there's not really a precedent, or there hasn't been an instance where somebody goes to jail for cutting down an illegal tree, but
We
could
trying-
potentially be,
It's been threatened.
been
we
threatened.
trying right now,
Yeah.
2 of them.
Right.
Any other discussion?
No.
All right, we'll vote. Do we need a vote to table it? Vote the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 7-0. Okay, moving on to the city clerk's report. I'll call for a motion to approve the docket of claims 26-001 dated January 6, 2026 in the amount of $366,894.78. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 7-0. Councilwoman Holmes has left the room at 6:20. I'll call for a motion to approve the docket of claims 26-002 special B&J dated January 6, 2026 in the amount of $2,190.45. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a
Second.
second? Second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Okay, Councilwoman Holmes has re-entered the room at 6:20. I'll call for a motion to approve the docket of claims 26-003 special or Tetra Tech dated January 6, 2026 in the amount of $164,768.12.
Motion.
Have a motion by Councilman DeSalvo. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Smith. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 7-0. Call for a motion to approve the docket of claims 26-004, special dated January 6, 2026, in the amount of $5,405.94. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 7-0. Mayor's agenda?
Good.
Good. Okay, council business. We do have, the discussion of fireworks ordinance brought on by Councilwoman Davis. You wanna start off with some discussion?
Okay, so I had phone calls.
Although Councilman
Email.
DeSalvo has left the room.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Recusing
Recused
himself.
About the extent that the fireworks were used during the holiday season. So I looked up the ordinance, and the sales for the New Year's season can start on December 18th and can go to January 2nd. And during that time frame, they can be used with no time allotment or anything in there. 4th of July is pretty much the same way, about 2 weeks before till the day after. So I was checking to see what we needed to do to shorten the time frame of sales and to see if there's any way we can put a, like, not to exceed, unless it's the holiday itself, like maybe 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. They were in our area till 2:30 in the morning since before Christmas. And email was from one guy said that during the summer there was such a use of fireworks in his neighborhood, had to drain his pool and had it cleaned because of all the firework debris in it. And then I think we also need to get with Waveland, our sister city there, because if we do make some changes and do some sets, it wouldn't work if they're still selling. Their sales time starts December 2nd to January 2nd for theirs. And just to see what we need to do to make some changes on that.
I think all you have to do is let us know what changes you want to make. I mean, it's your ordinance. It can definitely be amended to reflect whatever you want to do. I guess I could also remind people that, yeah, we have the firework ordinance and they are allowed, but then you also have, you can't create nuisances, you can't put stuff on other people's property. So there are other protections out there, but you can make whatever change you want to whatever you guys agree to. I would just want some direction from y'all as to what you want to see in the ordinance for the revision, and then we can bring it back to you.
Okay.
Linda, have you gotten any data from the police, fire department about the complaints, nature of the complaints, what we're seeing? Because I think anecdotally we'll hear complaints every now and then, but I just want to make sure we substantiate that with data.
I don't know, like call-in wise,
Yeah.
but since there's no set time or rules against the time of use or when, what it is.
They can't go.
Even if they called, they really didn't have a purpose other, unless 3 o'clock in the morning type thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think if they're shooting them off in the street, that's illegal. I think it's in the ordinance that you can't shoot fireworks
I don't know it off the top of my head.
in the street.
looking
That's
at
what
it, I
I've
don't
read.
think.
I don't, so in any.
I don't remember that
it's
part when I
Section
read it.
2431, Section B, it does say in such case, the unlawful of such firing of fireworks to be thrown into any street, avenue, alley, or sidewalk, doesn't say shoot from. I mean, I think, if we're going to make a change to an ordinance, I think it's imperative that we get as much data as we can. I mean, when I saw this come up, I did ask the police chief and the fire chief kind of where we stand in terms of complaints, issues, concerns. Looks like from Chief Alvin, we've had 9 complaints in the past year, 5 of which were before and after, well before or after the time frame of when it's legally allowed, meaning we put an ordinance in place, we can shorten that, condense that time frame, but it's still well without that time frame.
So Kyle, you're meaning like it might have been in August.
Correct. Or it was 2 weeks after January.
Yeah,
2nd.
February.
So you're
Mardi
looking at
Gras.
just a non-compliance that then we get into a noise issue,
Yeah.
the noise,
And I
disturbance
did
of
actually
peace.
talk to the chief about that. We had a conversation today, and what I told him is that, well, our noise ordinance still is in place. So if
Yeah.
some nuisance neighbor is just popping fireworks
Yeah,
on
then
a-
that would be addressed by that. I mean, I just kind of worry if we put an
Yeah.
ordinance in place, how can we enforce? You always want to make sure we can police that. And based on the 9 calls, there were a couple that felt like they're too close to the home. It was on somebody's property though. Based on the fire concerns in the past year, I think we had 1 occurrence. It was an individual that was probably intoxicated. I think they forgot to let go of their firework, blew a couple fingers off. That's, that gets into personal discretion,
Yeah.
personal responsibility. So, I mean, I just want to make sure if we put something in place, we have some data behind it. Based on that, I couldn't really justify putting that in place right now, based on that data.
I would say one of the, let me jump in.
Yeah, no.
One of the complaints I had received I've received a handful as well. One was regarding, there are veterans out there with PTSD, and you have a 2-week period where, you have fireworks being shot. I mean, I know, the noise ordinance can be enforced, but 2, 3 in the morning on December 19th could be a little excessive, but I don't have an issue with the 2-week timeline, but I guess it falls in line with the noise ordinance, but at, 10 o'clock, we don't need fireworks being shot off December 18th, 19th, 20th, but New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, I mean,
Yeah.
shoot it all through the night, even 2 days before, but that week, I'm not against the sale of it that week. I mean, you can ask people to be neighborly, but that also creates a conflict between neighbors when you ask them to police that amongst each other. So I don't think they're gonna get phone calls if we pull up the ordinance and you see that nothing's enforceable. But I would be okay with entertaining something like from December 18th to December 30th, 10 p.m. Kind of like the noise ordinance
Yeah.
downtown. I mean,
That would help a little bit.
it would help a little bit, I believe. But December 31st and New Year's Day,
Yeah.
roll with it. And I will say, I can remember when I was 12 years old, had the police called on me for shooting fireworks outside of the time frame. So I was that kid. So I'm just gonna say that.
But we don't have a time frame right now, right? That falls on the noise ordinance. So, Mayor, what's the ability to force that? So if you get a complaint, and it's past our,
I think it's like any noise at all, it's enforceable.
can we delineate where it's coming from? I guess your call is,
Yeah, that would be the thing to find it and
So
I
maybe
mean,
we
hard
could
part's
just,
gonna be finding that, cause if
Right.
somebody makes one of those
Yeah.
big
One
old bomb
time.
thingies and they go set it off, I
Yeah.
mean, unless
One
somebody
time,
just
but if they
sees it, you're not
continue-
gonna,
yeah, they continually firing, then you could find it, but.
and on still nights, I mean, it might be 10 blocks over that you're hearing
Yeah.
it.
I think
Yeah.
something that we're overlooking too is, we have a tremendous amount of people that come from far, from Louisiana in particular, that don't know these ordinances and
Yeah.
don't care. Exactly correct. So they go get their little fireworks and they go shoot the fireworks off.
If I'm not
And that's gonna
mistaken,
be a problem. I'm trying to enforce that with out-of-state people and that
I
kind of
think
stuff.
we've had a time or two where we disallowed them, except maybe on the beach in the summertime with those droughts. I think we've
burn
done
bans
it.
or-
Maybe 2 times we've done that.
the only
That's
issue I
right.
have with the beach is you're taking 14 square miles into 2, you're condensing the
Right.
potential for something
Right,
mishap
right,
there, and then you
somebody
still have people that live on the beach, and I know,
Yeah.
and I'm sympathetic to those veterans with PTSD, and I talked to a couple right before the meeting and asked them sympathetically, what are your stance on it? And they both have young kids, and they said, for us, it's a, it's a cultural, time that we've done this throughout. We've done it, they said, everyone's different when it comes to every veteran, but they said it's a pastime for all of us. We want to pass it on to our kids. So I don't want to get anything too draconian. I also want to make sure we're not sending our police and resources after, chasing down fireworks after a certain day or time. I mean, again, I'm just going off of the data provided here, and there's from Alvin, and I'll make sure I send this to the council. It was just received before. the
I
meeting.
just think if we shorten the time frame of the sales, it would cut down a lot of it also.
And you could add a time in there.
Because I spoke
10
to,
o'clock or
I
whatever,
spoke to
11
someone who
o'clock,
owns
yeah.
the fireworks stand,
For
and he
those
said their
couple
main
nights,
sales are,
But if Waveland is already selling on the 2nd, then all you're doing is really hurting the vendors in Bay St. Louis.
well,
Correct.
I think
So I think the
Waveland,
curfew
I got
would be
a call
more.
from someone at Waveland, and they said that they would be willing to work with us for us to set,
Yeah, I
the
think
same
we need to
time
try to
frames.
find
Yeah.
something reciprocating each other.
yeah.
and I know our noise ordinance, because I was thinking maybe you could just add in there, this is still subject to our noise ordinance, but there's a decibel level tied in with our noise ordinance. So it's hard to get a decibel reading on a
Right.
firework going off. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to get a reading on that, so maybe have
Yeah, I
the
don't think
the same time frame that's in our noise ordinance for fireworks as well. Like, I agree with it's a cultural thing as well. I mean, I probably shoot more fireworks than maybe Josh.
I mean, well, you gotta consider too, we're getting more
We're
populated.
getting more populated.
So if the firework does land on somebody's roof from somebody's
I shoot,
with, following the rules that you're supposed to, I guess it could happen
I-
1 week away or 2 weeks away?
I shoot a ton of fireworks, and
So
I
you're
mean-
who I hear when I lay in bed at night.
yes, but I'll like just out of being a
Fair
reasonable neighbor, I'll cut it off at 10 o'clock if
Yeah.
it's not New Year's night. But New Year's, if you pass by my house,
It's all fair
I'm out.
game.
I'm out. Yeah. So, anyways, I think that maybe add some time in there wouldn't be a bad thing, but to leave it on that holiday day where it's
Yeah, like the
expected.
4th of July and the New Year's
New
Eve
Year's
actually
Yeah.
be open, but the rest of them have some type of,
Timeline.
yes.
There's something to talk about. I mean, it's
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Yeah. And I'll send this to council. I think, like I said, I think there was one date before, there's 12/20, December 20th. Other than that, everything was in the time frame of what the ordinance states. And that's complaints that are logged in, but I'll make sure we get this sent out.
They didn't call the cops, they called me. Hey,
well. Any other discussion?
Also, though,
But
wait,
that's also
tell
what I
you
was gonna
that
do
is
Tell them to call.
tell them to call the
On
cops.
that
That is
report.
one of the
Right.
best things when people call you. I mean, I'll have people call me sometimes reporting, I just saw, you know, a car wreck. Well, call 911. I mean, what are you calling me for? I don't have,
I know.
hang up and call 911.
That's right.
So that's just one, and I know it stinks because you want to be able to give your constituents an answer, but if you get in the habit of telling them, hey, call 911 so that it's documented and we can use that data
Right.
to make further decisions in the future.
And I would think the data is important when you look at like the fire hazard, right? I mean, that's something that we're shooting fireworks. If there's a fire, that's gonna be logged. But as far as calling about the fireworks going off at 1, 2 in the morning, if you know there's not an ordinance in place to prevent it, I mean, you'd be wasting your time to call it in. So
Well, there are. I'd have to go back there, Jordan, and like research all of them. But there are certain books, the ordinance on the books, whether they be noise ordinances, nuisance ordinances. There's ordinance about putting stuff on other people's property. I mean,
maybe if we can just add those to it.
disturbance of the peace. I mean, there's a
little bit
lot
more
in there that
detail.
if somebody was really being a nuisance, and sometimes just a police officer riding by with flashing some lights
Yeah.
and some of that.
Any other discussion?
That's good. Just, let's check into
Any
it.
other council
Can we call-
business?
Oh yeah, any
Josh
other
back
council, any other council business? We'll start with Councilwoman Moynihan.
You want me to call Josh back in?
Oh, yeah, we
Agenda
probably-
item for B.
Oh, we got agenda item,
got
yeah.
B.
Oh, yeah,
B.
okay.
We gotta look at the date of
Okay.
your
For
Mardi
the-
Gras meeting.
Okay, is everyone good with moving it to that date? 17th to the 18th?
That is Ash Wednesday, just to
Oh,
make sure everybody, it's just the next business day.
That's
Yeah, I
usually
think
what I'm
so.
good
I'll
on.
call for a motion to reschedule the city council meeting from February 17th to February 18th due to Mardi Gras holiday.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith, do I have a second?
Davis, second.
Second by Councilwoman Davis, any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
Uh,
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 7-0. Okay, any other council business, starting with Councilwoman Moynihan?
No, I'm good.
Councilwoman Holmes?
Yes, we have some progress at the park, at MLK Park, so I definitely want to thank our team for getting that taken care of. You know, people do send me a lot of things that they see when I'm not around, and I appreciate the extra eyes. And it's slow progress, but it's still progress, so thank you.
yeah, just one item, Mike. I think you probably got the same message over the weekend. There was on Central, near Cary and St. Charles, there was a near accident. I know we've looked and done studies on that, so just wanted to kind of see if we have an update as to what we can do. And
I think we're getting ready to redo the stops, markers, put stop in the road, painting in the road to make coming over the tracks, and I'll make sure everybody can see it, and then see what we do there.
Would it be a stop? Because right now it's a yield off
It
the
would be a
track.
stop there, and there'll be a hard, the line there as well, where it's written in the road also.
And we'd be,
And same thing over on the other side of the street, on the corner.
and putting a stop there, right there on the tracks. I mean, in terms of, we've looked at that, we've gotten the study, that would be a viable option, not a.
Yeah, yeah, if you go through Gulfport and everywhere, Long Beach and all, they got them as soon as you come over the tracks and all in there.
Mm-hmm.
They got red lights. at
It's
some of
bad.
'em.
And
I
so-
almost
Yeah.
got
And so it
creamed.
seems like it's the folks that are coming off the tracks that are yielding or not yielding that are causing the majority of the accidents, it
That's
seems.
what it seems like.
Mhm.
So if we put the hard stop up there, we'll see what happens, you know. Not opposed to putting the four-way stop up if this, you know, if we still continue to have problems there and all.
But going with the path of least,
Yeah.
restriction and then seeing
But
if that
again,
helps.
it's, we can put a four-way stop and it's not gonna stop them from stopping.
Mm.
I mean, I hate to put it like that, but I mean,
Mhm.
you know. But
Yeah.
I think one of the things too, I'm not sure where the speed changes to 35 in there.
At St. Charles.
Yeah, it's right there coming.
Mhm.
You know, do we make everything 25 on St. Charles and get rid of the little area that's 35? Because Waveland's
Well, everything on St. Charles is 25. You're
Yeah.
just talking about Central?
Central.
on Central, yeah. I'm talking about on Central coming through. We
Mm.
go 25, 35, 25, so I think it is like that.
I'd like to see just maybe more enforcement and then just bumping that down at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at that. So looking at the stop sign coming off the tracks.
Yeah, Ronnie's putting it together, and when we do that, hopefully we can line, you know, when you come up and over the tracks both ways, you go over them on an angle, and at nighttime especially, even during the daytime, if you don't pay attention, when it turns back,
Yeah.
Webb Street's real bad,
Yeah.
you know, you go off right there, and there's usually a drop-off. We try to keep rocking and try to get the railroad
Mm-hmm.
to keep them in there, but we just, so hopefully we can stripe the edge of it as well.
Yeah.
And a center line maybe going through the tracks.
Okay, and I think that's a good approach. I mean, it looks like coming from Cary or St. Charles, it doesn't look like there's a lot inhibiting the view. I mean, if you're turning left or right onto Central, it seems like it's more maybe an issue coming off those tracks and just not yielding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there is, because when you come over the tracks from St. Charles, there's two huge telephone poles there. So you have to be really careful to look to your right to make sure there's no oncoming
Yeah,
traffic.
I mean,
But anyway. Good.
That's all good.
Anything?
I'm good.
I'm fine.
Yep, I'm good as well. Okay, moving on to the second public forum regarding non-agenda items. We have Mr. John Omen.
Hello again. New Year's Eve, Beach Boulevard was great as always. Mr. McPhail and the other merchants deserve a lot of credit. I suppose you'll be naming a street after him someday. Also to those responsible for the pyrotechnics, outstanding as always. To the city, the cleanup was nothing short of miraculous, at least what I could see from my porch. Last year, New Year's Eve, I took my granddaughter down about 11:30 p.m. We walked in front of the Baytown Inn, between the stage and 200 North Beach, and I went across the street to get to the gap between the Blind Tiger and what was then the Avro Dwyer building. And that's so we can make a quick getaway to get to the fireworks. We intended to do the same thing this year. We got as far as in front of 200 North Beach, and then I tried to cross the street. This year, there's chairs, and there's tables, and there's ice chests, and I'm kind of reminded of the old days, New Orleans Mardi Gras parades with the kids' ladders lashed together to make walls. I made it across there, okay? In some places, they were like cells joined together from one group and then the other. And I got to one point where I thought it closed in behind me. I wasn't going to be able to get back. But there was no friction or anything. Got it and everything there. If you don't get any other complaints about this, forget I said anything, okay? Because, you know, next year, if it's all the same, I got a different route to go around. Also, my granddaughter will be a year older. She's probably not going to be wanting to spend New Year's Eve with old granddad much anymore. But just thought I'd bring that to your attention. I thought up a couple of quick solutions to it, and almost as quickly realized they'd only make things worse. So good luck with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Mr. John.
Miss Anita Warner.
Arbor Day in Mississippi is next month. The second Friday in February is always Arbor Day in Mississippi. And the Garden Club has a beautiful Magnolia grandiflora that we would love to plant somewhere on city property. We would think that McDonald Park would be great, but City Hall, along the beach, y'all just tell me where you'd like us to put a tree, because it is our state tree, Magnolia grandiflora. And we've got a really nice tree we'd like to plant. So please let me know, because we will be planting it either on the 12th or the 13th of February. Y'all just need to tell me where you think it would go. And I think, Mike, you have a plan for McDonald Park, all the trees?
Yeah, there's a, yeah, so I think, Miss Anita, your best bet is to schedule a meeting with Mike and maybe talk to Ronnie Vanny to see where it would be.
What we can put it in.
Public Works,
12,
yes,
13th
and
is gonna be
then,
planted.
13th, yes, because the 13th, which is Friday the 13th, is Arbor Day in Mississippi. It's always the second Friday. We have a garden club meeting on the 12th, so sometimes we do it the day before because it's our meeting without a special.
and will you also shoot us a little email just of, to what you're donating and what the value is, so we can put it on the next probably consent agenda, just to accept the
Okay.
donation from the garden club. If you do
And-
that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay,
Hospital
and,
walking path may be another option.
I'm sorry, what, Mike?
Hospital walking path
Walking path,
at the hospital. That
Uh,
walking path may be a good option too.
but is that our property or is that
Be bit-
hospital?
It'd be better if we own the property so we can maintain it, right? I mean, I don't wanna,
I mean, they would maintain it just like they have other trees, but it would provide shade on the walking trail.
Well, I
That
mean,
might be
we
the
need
county, that might be
shade
county
downtown.
property. I'd have to look at, I'd have to.
I'm not sure.
We'll find a place.
The walk spot.
Okay. And the other thing is, the garden club is getting ready to plant a bunch of daffodils. And again, we'd like to put some, we were thinking about putting some at City Hall. Maybe along, I was looking when I passed by today, you have bushes, low bushes, maybe some underneath. These are bulbs and they'll bloom and they're perennial, so they'll come back year after year. And if you don't like them, you can yank them out. So, anyhow,
Again, I think that's just.
City
come-
Hall could use them.
Yeah.
I'm
come-
sorry, what?
So he said City Hall could use them.
Well, that's, we did put
happiness
the
and cheer
planters
on
in and
there.
they need to be refreshed, so anyhow, that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so I'll send a email to Ronnie Vanny and Mike.
Yes.
Okay,
Or Kim Four, that might be your easiest. Just send it to Kim.
okay.
she'll
And I
schedule
did
something.
check the website and the zoning, the proposed zoning ordinance, I could read it on my phone.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Johnny Raffio?
I'm the owner of Big Boy Status Towing. I was in here last time. Some of y'all wasn't in here, but trying to figure out what's taking so long to put me on record rotation. I've been trying 4 years and Mr. Jordan's the only one called me back, my councilman that was, that's in my zone, I guess you would call it. I've not heard from him since, since we started with this discussion. Is there anything that we can do to push this matter on, or where do we need to go with this?
Yep, I know we spoke.
We spoke on
a
the
little
phone.
bit today.
Yes.
I'll reach out to,
I'm
mayor.
the only one here in the city that's able to be on record rotation, and I don't know what takes so long to look at the paperwork. We're 100% qualified. If I'm not put on, it's because it's a personal vendetta. So we need to find out what it is, and we need to nip it in the butt now.
Yeah, well, and I
So,
know,
I guess the next time,
I will go ahead and say,
Yes.
I was under the impression, Mr. Rappio, that you had been denied and that a letter had been sent to you. I don't know the details of that denial. I don't have any information that I can give to you, but I was under the impression that that was sent over to you a couple weeks ago. So if it was not, we will check up on that, and the letter and the reasons will be sent to you tomorrow morning, if you have not received that already.
well, no, it's been taking, I guess, forever to get to me.
Mr. Rappio, I don't know. All I could tell you is what I just did. Mr. Risa, will you check in tomorrow and see why that letter
I
has
guess-
not been?
That's fine. If I've been denied, then next time y'all see me, we'll be in court. We will be suing y'all.
thank you, Mr. Raffio.
Excuse me?
Nope, that.
All right.
Wasn't in the mic.
Any, nobody else is signed up for public comment? We'll move on to, the attorney's report. Is there anything?
I'm just trying to take note as who just witnessed that. And I don't mind publicly saying that as to who just witnessed that in this room, because we may need that later. So Caitlin, if there's a way to get that captured, let's please do it. No, nothing for me.
No executive session needed. I'll call for a motion to adjourn the meeting of January sixth, 2026.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
Moynihan seconds.
Any other discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 7-0. Meeting's adjourned.